Welcome to the podcast series, Lifestyle by Design, Not Default. I am your host, Margaret Wiltshire, and today I have on my coach and mentor, Sifu Karl Romain. Sifu, welcome.
Thank you, Margaret. I'm excited to be here with you one more time.
Well, I thank you for being here. Today is Saturday, and today is the 23rd. We have a snowstorm, that huge snowstorm. I don't know if they gave it a name. But everyone, the blizzard. Okay. And everyone's kind of
2016.
That's right. And everyone's trapped inside today, more or less. My little one and I made it outside, and we got up really early. I was excited. She was excited. We got up. We got the sled. This is like, I don't know, 8, 9 o'clock. We go out. There's nobody outside. It's still snowing. And there's wind. Wow. And I'm like, I don't think we should go. And she's like, yes. There's somebody walking down the block. Let's go. So, in an attempt not to show fear, encourage her, we're walking down the block. So we're walking in the street, then we get to the end and we're at Central Park West, and there's all this wind and snow and wind and snow, and the sled is like blowing with the wind. And I'm like, Satya, I think we should go back home. This isn't good weather. And she's like, but it's right there. It's right across the street. I was like, okay. So we go across the street. There are like 2 kids in there with their dads, braving this thing. You can't even slide down because the snow is still fresh and like really bumpy. So we went in and we tried a thing or two, and I was like, hey, we did it. Now it's time to go.
And she said, no, just one more time.
No, she was ready. She was like, my cheeks are pinchy. It's like, what does that mean? I'm cold. Okay, let's go. So today, Sifu, we are going to talk about resolutions and bucket lists versus goals. So, Sifu, tell me, what's a resolution?
A resolution is when you resolve to do something different with your life. When you make a decision that this year or the next year, whatever it is, the next couple of months, I'm going to do something different, something I've always wanted to do, something I felt was important for me to achieve. I wanted to improve on something I didn't do last year, but I really set a goal for myself to say, this is what I want this year. And so that's a resolution.
Okay. What's a bucket list?
Well, typically when people talk to me about their bucket list, it's more of a long-term thing. It's more of a, this is what I want to do before I die. And it's like a checklist of all the things that they want to experience, so to speak, before they pass on. Which, the hardest thing about that is you really don't know how long of a life you have. So I think it behooves us to really think about our bucket list and getting things done right away.
Okay. And goals. What are goals?
Goals are a dream with a deadline. And it's really important when you think about your goals to attach, whether it's a goal, I'll say it this way, whether it's a goal, a bucket list, or a resolution, it's really important to attach a purpose to it. Many times people will set a goal or they'll make a resolution and they don't achieve it. They don't accomplish it. We know that in the beginning of the year, people said all these, I want to do this, I want to achieve that, I want to accomplish that. They say all these things that they want to do, but then somewhere during the year, they give up on that. And I believe the reason they give up is they don't attach a big enough purpose to it. Their why isn't big enough. And the more whys you can give your goals, the more legs you can put underneath it, the more likely you are to achieve it.
Okay. So is that why resolutions don't work?
Typically, I believe so, because you can set a resolution and say, I want to achieve that. But if your purpose behind doing it isn't big enough, what's your motivation when it gets hard? Additionally, I believe if you don't plan correctly to achieve the goal, it doesn't happen. When I talk about plan, my goal setting system is PARR, plan, act, review, renew. And when we look at the plan, there's several different components to it. So one of the things I said before is that goals are a dream with a deadline. So we have to start with, number one, identifying very clearly what is the goal, what is the objective we're trying to achieve. Number two, what is the deadline? I will accomplish this by when? If you go back to my story, I said by age 22, I want to be a world champion. So even though I had the car accident, even though things didn't seem like they were working out, that was always something for me to remember, always a number I was always shooting at. So having a deadline is critically important. Number 3, identifying the people or groups of people that will support you in accomplishing your goal. Number 4, what are the obstacles that may get in your way? Right? If you can identify the obstacles early, then you can go to number 5 and start thinking about what are the solutions. If this obstacle comes up, what is a possible solution that I can put into place to actually help me achieve the goal?
Okay. So walk me through an example. We know that weight loss is one of the most common resolutions and goals. A lot of people want to lose weight. So some might set it as a resolution, some might have it as a goal. Can you take me through what it would look like as a resolution versus what it would look like as a goal?
Well, okay, so the typical resolution is I want to lose X number of pounds this year. Or actually, most people, unfortunately, say they want to lose too much weight too quick. But the truth is, you should really do it over a year. So let's just say the person says, I want to lose 10 pounds this year, for example. So they set the goal, and then they typically start working for it and going to the gym and doing the things that they should do. Hopefully they're on a proper meal plan, because we know that, if they really want to lose weight, 80% of it is going to be diet.
Yeah.
So we need to get rid of that myth that exercise alone is going to do it. It's actually not. So with that said, they'll start out and eventually at some point, because it's not really a habit they adhere to, or they're sore one morning, that first time they give up, the first time they actually decide, well, today I'm a little tired, I'm going to stay in bed instead of going to the gym, they typically fall off. That one day turns into 2, 2 turns into 3, 3 turns into 4, and next thing you know, it's been a week, and now they feel like, well, it's so far gone, I'm just going to ignore it. And so that's why they don't accomplish it. But if their purpose in losing the weight was greater, if they could find more reasons why they should achieve it, then those reasons are a bigger factor and a bigger motivator in helping them accomplish it. Additionally, if they have an accountability buddy, somebody they have to meet at the gym, somebody who says, listen, I'm not going to let you down, and if you don't show up, I am calling you. We will do this together. We will accomplish it together. They're more likely to actually accomplish the goal, right? Additionally, if they know the obstacles, so, I'm going to be sore. Well, what's one way that they can work around the soreness? Or maybe, like today, we had a blizzard. The gym's closed. You can't go. Maybe you get an app. My friend Donovan Green has a fantastic app. He wrote the book No Excuses, but he has got a great app called the Chair Workouts. Very simple things that you could do at home. And in 10 minutes or less, you can get a full body workout in. So there's great alternatives out there if you know in advance what some of the obstacles may be.
Okay.
So these are the types of things I think you could do as far as talking somebody through it, right? And giving you a for example. Those are the types of things I think people could do.
Okay. And with it being a goal and attached to a purpose, a strong purpose that might be, I want to be healthy and I want to be strong and I want to be, maybe like for me, example, independent. I don't want to depend on anyone, and I want to feel good. So attaching your goal to a stronger purpose, like maybe vitality and energy and health, would be a more of a driving force to help you accomplish it.
Absolutely. And also know thyself. For some people, they care more about other people than themselves. So maybe the things you're saying are good for you, but for some people, the reason for them to get in better shape or to be in good health is for their family, for their children, because they want to be there long term. They don't want to be there in the short term. Maybe they've watched a friend who's ill and they recognize the value of health in their life. So that could be a great motivator. So you really have to know what your triggers are, know thyself, right?
So how could you find out what your triggers are? That's a very good point.
Well, again, it's about taking an inventory and really spending some time and thinking about what's really important to you. You
Okay.
know, why do I want to accomplish this goal? What would it mean to my life if I accomplish this goal? You know, what are the additional reasons or benefits of accomplishing this goal? And just really taking your time to think through some of these questions and to think through what, like I said, is really important to you. And simply by doing that, you're going to come up with some great answers of why you should accomplish your goal.
Okay, so let's take it from this angle. We've got someone, we know the beginning of a new year is approaching. Maybe they're unhappy with their lives, and it is that time. I think that even people who aren't really into setting resolutions, they still sit down and they want to do something different. They think about their lives and they thought about what they haven't done yet, and they might come up with something. So we've got someone who's at that place. Maybe we have someone else who wants to do something different. They're not happy with their current situation, whatever it is, whether it be financially, relationship, whatever it is, they're not happy and they want change, but they're not really sure. Maybe they don't know what their purpose is. Let's take it from there. How can they, one, find purpose, two, set some goals from that purpose, and then lay out a plan and take action to see those goals through? So we'll start from, I want to change, but how exactly do I do this when I'm not really sure what it is I want to do?
Well, I don't believe in change. I think it's very difficult for people to change, and most people don't like the word change, but I do believe in transformation.
Okay.
Going from the caterpillar and becoming a butterfly. Right. And we know that part of that process is a struggle, and as you go through the struggle and try to get out of that cocoon is how you're going to turn into the butterfly. So we have to be prepared for that. Right.
Okay.
But I would say just right from where you are, take a look at your life and answer this one question. If I lived this day every day for the next 5 years, would I be happy? It's a powerful question.
Very powerful question.
Right? Mm-hmm. So in my 6-step transformation process, I go through some of these questions and help people to really think about how they are living today. Because here's what I know: thoughts are things. Whatever you think upon grows. Right? And if you look at the dominating thoughts of somebody's mind, and we trace it back 5 years, we could tell you what they were thinking about based on where they are today in their life.
Wow. Okay.
So if you lived this life, this day, over and over again for the next 5 years, would you be happy and completely satisfied with your life? Probably not. Most people would not. So here's the question. So what would you do differently? And what would it look like if you were totally satisfied and fulfilled with this day in your life, in this moment of your life? Bring it down to the smallest portion. Make it simple, right? Once you've been able to answer the questions, then we can move forward.
Okay.
Right? Because you all of a sudden you know what's missing. You know what I should have, could have, would have done. Right? I should have worked out today, but I didn't. I should have spent more time with my children, but I didn't. I wanted to be a better husband today or spouse, but I didn't take any action on it. I wanted to visit my sick friend, but I didn't. So you start to look at these things and say, well, how would I spend my time differently? And just by simply looking at how you spend your time differently, it starts to give your life a little bit more direction, a little bit more clarity. And now once you have that clarity and you're honest, step number 1 in my process is truth. Once you've told the truth, now you look at your thinking. Once you have your thinking, you figure out your purpose, your big whys, right? And now that we have these 3, we can now work on the external part. We can start looking at choices. We can start looking at action, which I break up into 2 pieces. 1, acting, because whenever you set a goal, it's the process of becoming something. So how are you acting? Are you being who you say you want to be? And of course, number 2 is your action plan, because that has to be a part of it as well. And then the last part of my process is accountability. Having someone that you're accountable to, having someone outside of yourself that you can partner with and work with. Maybe it's a life coach, maybe it's a good friend, a family member, a spouse, whatever it is, that usually helps people to do better. I know as an athlete and working with professional athletes and amateur athletes, they always do better when they had a great coach, right? They always did better when they had somebody on the outside of the situation that can help motivate, inspire them, and that they could talk to about it and say, hey, listen, you need to do this, and help them set their own consequences for not doing it.
What is it, and this is a slightly different topic, but as you were talking, I was like, what is it about a coach? You know, let's use athlete, for example. The coach might not particularly be an athlete. You know, let's say in your case, you're a martial artist. Your coach might not be a martial artist, but yet, you know, the right coach, and you've had some great coaches in your life,
Yes.
Or a great coach,
Yes.
you know, they're able to find something in you and pull it out. Like, what is it about a coach that can do that? A great coach?
Well, again, you know, a great coach understands this one thing. There has to be a relationship with the person they're coaching. And when I say that, it's not a personal relationship, it's a personable relationship where they understand and know you. And they also understand how to motivate you. They understand what your goals are, what your visions are. They also know what your psychic wounds are. So they're able to tap into the things that really are going to drive you forward to succeed. Not every coach, if you're an athlete, you may not have a coach that's an athlete, and maybe they don't need to be to help you. But if they understand peak performance in one area, they can transfer that to another area. And if they built a great relationship with you, then you're more likely to work with them in a way that's constructive that will allow you to be successful.
So now we've talked about, you know, how we can possibly find a purpose in our life. And we talked a little bit about coming up with goals. How do we take our goals to the next step? So we've found, you know, what we want to do a little bit. We're sitting down and we're thinking of some goals. What's the next step? You talked about some of those things in process, but how do we put them all down and move forward?
So you design your plan. You know, when I talked about that, I explained the different components of the plan already. But it's basically plan, act, review, renew. You know, right. So we talked about the plan and the elements of the plan. The second step is act or action, right? You got to move forward. You know, lots of people design a great plan but don't do anything with it. So you got to get motivated to do that, you know, and you kind of want to think about it moment by moment, day by day, right? I've only got a minute, only 60 seconds, sit it, can't refuse it, got to use it, do it now, do it now, do it now. You got to get it done. And that has to be your mentality. And then, so now you have plan, you have act, and now you have review. And basically what you're doing is reviewing your progress. And these are checkpoints. You know, how am I doing? Am I getting closer to accomplishing my goal? Where am I? You know, when I first learned business from my mentor, he used to say the numbers don't lie. You know, anything that you can measure allows you to see an honest result. Like, am I going where I want to go, or am I not going where I want to go? It's plain and simple. So always try to find some way to measure your result, right? And if you're clear and concise about where you want to go and you can work backwards, it's easier to see where you should be now. And then the last step is renew. And basically what you're doing is renewing your commitment to the goal. And that's a day by day, hour by hour, moment by moment thing.
Okay. So tell me, let's talk a little bit about bucket lists. What are some things on your bucket list, for example? We'll start there.
I don't think
do you have a bucket list?
I don't have a bucket
you have
list.
A bucket.
I do not. Here's the thing about, for me, and I can only talk about me, I don't want to think about my life in a way where I say, well, I got time to do anything, because I've already experienced the fact that I didn't have the time I thought. You know, I'm very lucky to be here, and I'm given a second chance. So for me, I'm thinking moment by moment, and I'm thinking about my life in a way is, what do I want to do right now? What do I want to accomplish today? And not necessarily tomorrow or down the road someday, maybe when I get there. I may never get there. You know, just today I was looking at something and I saw an obituary for somebody I went to high school with, and I was thinking, wow, I'm shocked, right, that this person passed away. And I just think it's another reminder that all we have is today. We're not guaranteed tomorrow. So for me, I don't do the bucket list thing. I just think about today. What do I want to do today?
Okay. So now that now that, the individual who's looking at the year ahead and looking at their life ahead, and they've come up with some purpose, they've come up with a plan, they found someone that they could possibly be accountable to, an accountability buddy. They're renewing every day, but there comes a point where life gets crazy and knocks them off their feet. What do?
Start over. I think it was Helen Steiner Rice had that poem about every day is a new beginning, right? You're just starting over again, right? So just start over. Don't let one setback derail you. Recognize that there's always a new tomorrow, and there's always an opportunity to just start over again. It's not too late. So if you set a resolution for yourself, if you didn't have all the pieces together, first thing is go back and get all those pieces together that we just talked about. And then the next thing would be is just start over. Start now. It's not too late.
Okay. Sifu, I want to thank you for being here on this really snowy day. But before I let you go, yes, I would like to know, what are some of your goals?
Well, some of my goals is to actually serve more people. I have a very unique opportunity as a martial arts instructor, as a motivational speaker, a published author. I blog for the Huffington Post. I'm a certified professional life coach. I started a new company just recently to help people with their relationships, a matchmaking company called Quintessential Match. So my goals are more in alignment with just serving more people this year. If I can double the number of people that I serve, then I think it's a win-win for everyone.
Okay. And why is it important to you or for you to help other people?
It's part of my purpose. See, my passion is martial arts, but what I recognized was that my purpose was about inspiring people to live their dreams. There are many people that I've met that gave up on their dreams. And so I've set a goal for myself to really help people not only to dream and believe in those dreams, but to actually accomplish their goals and make their dreams come true.
Okay. That is very beautiful, and it's very selfless. It's a selfless act to help others, and you have helped quite a number of people, and I'm sure that you will help more. I'm sure the numbers are in the thousands now, and you're helping to change the world. Making it a better place. So I honor you for sharing your message. And again, I want to thank you for being here on this snowy day, sharing your time and your wisdom. And it was important to me to get this done at this time. We're about to enter into the month of February. And this is about the time that people start slacking off, so just renewing why you're doing things. And just in case you weren't sure, I think that your words of wisdom will help direct people in a better direction to get to the heart of what it is they really need to be doing with their lives. So thank you.
Thank you.
I want to say, I hope everyone gets the message there, and they will. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.